Moving on to the game of the night here. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Scroll down into my notes here. And guys, the Ravens have officially locked in their playoff spots for the 2024 NFL playoffs. Now, they still do have a chance to win the AFC North with the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's not worry about the North right now, Mark. Let's worry about the playoffs. Guys, how dangerous are the Baltimore Ravens in this year's playoffs? Can they make an AFC championship game again? Or are they a first-round exit like the Houston Texans? Mark, what are your initial thoughts?
I think they're going to go far. I think the three teams you got to watch out for is Kansas City, Buffalo, and the Ravens. Like those three teams, you never know what they're going to do once they get there. I see all of them going far, but you never know. Lamar doesn't have a good record in the playoffs, like you always say. Like, I don't think you're a hater. I think you're just stating facts that he's not good in the playoffs, and all these people who love Lamar can't see that. Until he actually wins some playoff games, then we might put a crown on his head, But until then, I'm not going to do that. So I just think that you got to watch out for all three of those teams, no matter what.
Yeah, and many of those haters will say, "Oh, he made the championship game last year. He won one playoff game." But let's just call it a spade a spade. He won one playoff game last season. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, guys, they are a team that is a very, very powerful team. Let's just be honest. They are a very, very good offensive threat of team. They're first overall in offense. They're third in passing on the offensive side of the ball. And they're second in rushing. And Derrick Henry, had like 200 yards today. Ran all over the Pittsburgh Steelers' fourth-ranked rush-stopping defense, right? The offense is the real deal. The defense, however, Mark, for the Baltimore Ravens, have been the defense. The defense has been the issue all season long. But the last few weeks, they have been stepping up. And today, they made some timely turnovers, right? The tackle with Rush's long run, 30-some-odd yard run. Rush tried to cut it back and get into the end zone, fumble. And then the pick six, right? Their defense is it's not very good, but it made some timely turnovers today, which is key for the playoffs. When you look at their defense, they're a 17th ranked defense overall, 31st ranked pass defense, but they're the number one ranked rush defense. And Mark, I know you haven't done a show for very long, and you're like a part-timer, but the keys to winning a championship is to running the ball and playing defense. If you cannot rush the ball versus a bad Baltimore Ravens defense, and they're running all over you, the Baltimore Ravens could legit make a nice little run in the playoffs. Despite Lamar Jackson's crappy play in the playoffs, they can legit upset the Houston Texans. It would be an upset in my eyes because the fourth place or the fifth seeded team playing the fourth seeded team, that is an upset. And then if everything holds face, the Ravens would then come to Arrowhead and play the Chiefs in the divisional round. And if they can beat the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead by the playing the ball that they do, the Buffalo Bills do not stand a chance. And the Ravens could make a Super Bowl run if they get past the Kansas City Chiefs. So they are dangerous if they can get past the divisional round. Can they, though? That's the real question mark. Can the Ravens get past the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round if they were to play?
That's the big question, man. I think out of all the years that Lamar has going to go up against Mahomes, I think this is going to be his best shot. Like him having Derrick Henry to be that 1-2 punch with him is killer. Like it kind of showed today against the Steelers. But I think a lot of what today was, I'm not taking any credit away from the Ravens, but I think the Steelers are on. I've always thought the Steelers are fugazi. I'm sorry, but I think they are. I think Russ is fugazi. He's really showed his true colors. Like I told you, like if he doesn't have a run game, he can't do shit. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. But he can't do anything. Like he needs that to be successful, and like it showed it here in Denver, and that's why we got rid of him. And the Steelers think that he can be this savior there, and he's not going to be. So the Ravens just took advantage over a team that's declining. But I think Ravens are still really good. I just think this was more about Steelers being bad and the Ravens being good.
Yeah, just to add to your point there, the Steelers defense, the secondary right now is very, very thin, right? They had Joey Porter Jr. go down with a calf or ankle injury early in that third quarter. So the Baltimore Ravens were really able to exploit that, and that's kind of when they started to. I think that's when they gained the lead and they extended the lead to the 31 to was it 17 was the final score if I'm not mistaken. However, I made a Facebook comment or a Facebook post during that game, and I'm saying, sorry guys, but Lamar Jackson is not your MVP. And your boy, our boy, Wayne G is like, yeah, he is not the MVP because he does not have a number one receiver. And then me and Wayne and G started going back and forth because he loves Lamar. He loves him some Lamar Jackson. I'm the Lamar Jackson hater, right?
He does.
And like I have said this many times, and people just do not understand this, but people always have blames for they have excuses of why Lamar Jackson loses. Does it have a number one receiver? The defense is not very good. Not a running back. This, and this. But when he wins, it is all Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, the greatest thing since ever. He doesn't need a number one receiver. He doesn't need this, and this. So when during mine and Wayne G's interaction, I said, but the Ravens do have a number one receiver. Zay Flowers is a number one receiver. And then agree. And then Wayne comes back and he says well, he is no Jamar Chase. He is no J.A.J. and he is no Tyreek Hill. I'm like, well, pause. None of those guys are. Those guys are complete outliers. Those guys are complete crazy specimens.
Those guys are elite.
But hear me out. If you put Zay Flowers with Joe Burrow, he's probably putting up Jamar Chase numbers. You put Zay Flowers in a Kevin O'Connell system in Minnesota, he's putting up JJ numbers. So the question that I want to ask you, Mark, is Zay Flowers the number one receiver?
For them, yes. I think, like I said, dude, this is their best roster that they've accumulated, which was really surprising that their defense is so bad because Ravens have always been known for their defense. So it's really weird that their team is totally switched now and it's more of an offensive team than it's ever been a defensive team. So maybe that's what they're thinking it's going to help them win.
Yes. Obviously the Ravens are a good team. The defense is getting better. Offense is fantastic. The Ravens are just not an elite team yet, right? Because it's kind of like, what have you done? What can you do? Not of what have you done? And right now they are just the fifth seed in the AFC team, right? So guys, let me ask the question for the people down there in the comments below. Are the Ravens a dangerous team in the playoffs? And John says one word, simply put, extremely dangerous. Okay. But then John wants to preface this as dangerous with Derrick Henry. So
they got to use him like they did today. They got to feed him, dude. Like the last few games before this, they weren't doing that.
Right.
They needed to use him to close out games. That's why they brought him in. Like that's what will help them.
Yeah. Just to add to your point, in the games that they have lost this season, Derrick Henry has touched the ball 0, 1, twice, and 1 time, and 0 times in those losses in the fourth quarter. So fresh legs, whatever. I don't care. Use him and abuse him. You brought him in there. So Mark, let me ask you this question. People in the chat as well. We don't wish injuries at all. I don't want to wish that evil on anybody, Ricky Bobby. But
don't you put that evil on me?
If the Ravens do not have Derrick Henry in the postseason, are they still dangerous?
No, they need Derrick Henry, dude. Like, I feel like a lot of their success this year was because of Derrick Henry. And the reason I can say that is because I've had him on my fantasy all year. He's been killing it. And so if he's been killing it for me, he's been killing it for them. So it's like he is a huge piece to their success. I said this last year that they should have traded for him. I don't know why they didn't. And I don't know why Dallas didn't try to trade for him. That's like an idiot move by Jerry Jones. Like, he could be doing this in Dallas. Like, why wouldn't they have done that? Why would they have made that move? So I'm really glad to see that he's there. But like I said, the only way they win is if they use him right and they feed him in the fourth quarter.
And I want to take it one step further because obviously you have Derrick Henry. You want to use him and like abuse him. But the reason why the Ravens lost to the Kansas City Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship game wasn't because they didn't have Derrick Henry. It was because they ran the ball 12 times. It was because they passed the ball 50 some odd times. That is not a recipe for winning for any team. I don't care if it's the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens or the New York freaking Giants. It doesn't matter. If you're passing the ball 50 plus times in a game and rushing it under 10, you're not going to win. So you definitely just have to use Derrick Henry. Like you have to use running backs, period. But obviously having Derrick Henry, Mark, does help a lot, right? Alpha Rob.
The guy's a beast.
Yeah, he is. What, 200 yards a day? Like, I don't know, just crazy. My little man, he's 4. We had a basketball game earlier to day, and he forgot to dribble the ball. He cuffs the basketball like he's running the ball, and he tanks like 6 kids. Like, poof, 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 poof. I was like, all right, see you, bud.
So we're gonna be doing that now. All right.
So no more watching Derrick Henry. But Alpha Rob says the Bills will beat Jackson and Mahomes, and Allen will take his crown and be the best AFC quarterback.
That's what I've been saying.
I think Josh Allen already is the best quarterback in the AFC.
But he needs the championship to prove it to everybody else.
Why? Why do you think championships?
It's all about rings. It's all about you remember winners. You don't remember losers, Buck.
Yeah, but I also remember a 6'6", 260-pound guy trucking linebackers as a quarterback. Like, come on. Josh Allen is already the best quarterback in the AFC. Nacho says, I never on the Ravens game because you never know what you are going to get from week to week basis. I think he's trying to say I never bet on a Ravens game because you never know what you're going to get on a week to week basis, which is true, right? Which is true with like a lot of teams. The only staples from week in to week out so far this season have been the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, and the Buffalo Bills, and of course now the Eagles since like week 5. You know what you're going to get. You have to play up to their standards, or they're just going to blow you out. So. It is what it is. Jim said, I seen the Ravens run game hitting today, but will Henry's fall off but will Henry's wheels take the beating? I
think that's why they didn't use him so much the last few games. I think they're like trying to rest him. They're like, okay, we're going to really need him for the playoffs, so let's let him like chill out, and then we're going to ramp him up again. So that's why he had a game today. Like, and now I'm afraid that because they got their seed locked up, it's gonna kill my fantasy championship if they rest him. Like, I need Henry to feed Henry, please. Come on, give Henry the ball.
So I think they're going to feed Henry the ball because I think they want that AFC North title, right? Honestly, let's just watch Hard Knocks on Tuesday and see what the mindset is for the Ravens going into the next week. But I think they're definitely going to try to win that division. WBN says the only 2 people who can stop the Ravens is John Harbaugh and Andy Reid. And honestly, Ant, I'm not for sure if the Kansas City Chiefs could legitimately stop the Ravens the way they played today. Yes, the Chiefs defense has been pretty top notch, except for the last 2 weeks have been kind of coming back down to reality a little bit. But the biggest Achilles heel for the Ravens is the coaching staff, is the play calling. This is John Harbaugh. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Josh says, I think the Ravens and Eagles were both equally great teams right now. And like Jim says that's an 80-mile Super Bowl. Ravens versus Eagles. Oof, that would be tough, wouldn't it? That would be a good game, I think. Be a good game.
I think so too. That's a matchup I didn't even think of.
That would be a hour and 8-minute Super Bowl. So all those people that are buying Super Bowl ads will be like out of SOL because they don't have enough TV timeouts because they'll be rushing left, rushing right. It would be a very, very boring Super Bowl for those average fans, right? Jedi says, cry, Texans cry. The refs, wah, wah, wah. Exactly. That is what all our Facebook posts have been saying. Refs. Let's go ahead and scroll down the rest of these comments, see what the people are going to get. Nacho says, you never know what's going to go to get from the Ravens. Exactly. Jim says, do we really want someone like Flowers displaying the servant type receivers who are so good then act like Dennis Rodman? Zay Flowers did punch the Kansas City Chiefs player last year, and they got that personal foul that kind of basically lost them the game too. I don't know. It's just kind of
so. Justin Jefferson's Dennis Rodman. Is that what I'm getting?
I'm not for sure. I don't know.